Please pray with me. May these words that I speak be grounded in my soul, encouraged by the God presence in me. And may these words that you hear be captured by your soul, enlivened by the God presence in you. Amen. Being grateful, offering thanks, is quite easy to do when it is responding to a moment where love or joy has been experienced. Living with gratitude, however, living in a grateful way every moment of our lives is a very, very hard thing to do. Living and breathing gratitude challenges us to embody thankfulness in a deeper way, so that every moment becomes something for which we are grateful, even in tough times, even in hard times, even in bad times. Most of us, including me, find this kind of gratitude nearly impossible because we ask, how can we be grateful or find something to be thankful for when we are angered by world events, or when we receive a life-altering diagnosis, or when we are experiencing loneliness or exclusion or criticism, or if we've been hurt very deeply? This is the question I have been pondering most of this week. How can I be grateful or offer thanks when life isn't going well? In the story I read the children this morning, Daisy is focused almost entirely on being thankful for the loving and the lovely things. In the whole story, there is only one page, just one page, that goes deeper than these easy gratitudes. It is when Daisy recognizes, she's sitting on that ribbon with the candle to the other side of the picture, and she recognizes that the God Spirit is present in times of sadness, in times of loneliness, and in times when we're afraid. This, for me, is the most important page of the book. But like life itself, is only given a single page. It is important, I think, because if we are to get ourselves to a place of living each and every moment with gratitude, it will be in the challenges that we face where we will have the most work to do. And so for myself this past week, I've asked these kinds of questions. In the daily news that is so focused on promoting fear and hatred and division, how do I experience gratitude? In the little conflicts that are alive in this community, centered in a need for control or a need to be right or a need for someone else to be wrong, how do I experience gratitude? And in my own body, as I feel somewhat unwell and wait for test results to possibly find out what's going on, how do I experience gratitude? It seems to me that for gratitude to become a natural response to each circumstance, first we need to be connected body and mind to our heart center, to that still place within us where love lives, where God is present. It is only from this soul deep place, what I consider a bottomless reservoir, that we can cultivate the hope, the peace, the compassion, the joy that births gratitude. This is why I believe we must imitate Jesus rather than worship him. Why? Because Jesus operated from his own inner reservoir of deep love. In enough moments in his life that he made a difference. He was noticed. It was deep gratitude for life itself, and his life certainly wasn't easy. But it was that deep gratitude that caused Jesus to respond to 10 lepers, to 10 outsiders with welcome and love first. If we interpret this story we heard this morning as a physical healing only, all we are left with is a Jesus to worship. And their acceptance back into the community is because they no longer have a physical condition that is seen as unclean. That's not good enough for me. And it's most certainly not true to the message of the gospel. It's not even a loving response. Rather, what matters to me is that they were spiritually healed. That despite their circumstance, they were considered as having equal value with every other human being. Jesus welcomed them openly, without hesitation, and challenged the community. Go to the priests. Challenge the community to do the same in the name of love. And Jesus further praises the one most outside the community, the one with physical affliction and also a foreigner. Not because he returned to thank Jesus personally, but because this one found the healing power of gratitude for his own life, regardless of the circumstances. He embraced his own value as a human being rather than allowing the community to determine his worth. He found real life. Jesus ends that story by saying, "Go, your faith has made you well." So how then do I apply this to my own life, my own desire to be more thankful each day? In the daily news, those questions I asked a few minutes ago, in the daily news that can easily leave me feeling overwhelmed with fear and helplessness, I choose to imagine the stories of compassion that go untold in every one of those stories. And I choose to enlarge the moments of life-giving news. I choose to give less of my life to fear-mongering news about gun violence and the National Rifle Association and foolhardy politicians, and give more of my life to life-giving stories like the beautiful message offered by our new Governor General, Julie Payette. In the little conflicts at work in this community, I choose to give less of my life to the behaviors that hurt, diminish, and judge another, and give more of my life to the hearts and souls beneath all of those behaviors, longing for more love, more acceptance, and more encouragement, just like everyone else. And in response to my own physical challenges, I choose to give less of my life to the worry, the fear, and the uncertainty of what ails me, and give more of my life to the experiences I have, the gifts I have been given, and the blessings I have lived and continue to live. This is how I choose to be grateful. This is how I work hard to give thanks for love's sake. Always for love's sake. In each moment, rather than to be overcome by fear and anger or resentment that the world or this community or myself personally are not perfect. I want to end with these words of unknown origin, but I feel really worth repeating. And it goes like this. After a while, you learn the subtle difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. And you learn that love doesn't mean leaning, and company doesn't mean security. And you begin to learn that kisses aren't contracts and presents aren't promises. And you begin to accept your defeats with your head up and your eyes open, with the grace of wisdom rather than the grief of foolishness. And you learn to build all your roads on today, because tomorrow's ground is too uncertain for plans. After a while, you learn that even sunshine burns if you get too much. So plant your own garden and decorate your own soul instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers. And you learn that you really can endure, that you really are strong, and that you really do have worth, and there is everything to be thankful for. My friends, to be human, from the moment of our birth to the moment of our death, is a work in progress. So if you think you're there, put your hard hat on and get back to work. And may that work, through the power and the presence of love, find us more and more and more each day living with gratitude.